boys and girls. I'm so glad you joined us today for Story Time with Miss Brenda. And I have not one, not two, but three very special guests with me today. And I have my two nephews. In fact, I'll let them tell you what their name is. What's your name?
Nolan.
Nolan, and can you tell me your name?
Sawyer.
And Sawyer. And Nolan and Sawyer don't live very far from me, and I asked them if they would come and join me for story time today because I thought you boys and girls would like to meet them. Also, we have joining us our Kids Club for Jesus dog. This is Teddy Bear. And Teddy Bear, can you say hi to the boys and girls? Teddy Bear has a nose. Look at the camera, Teddy. And he has a nose the shape of a heart. Isn't that cute? Teddy Bear is a miniature Australian Labradoodle. And are you wondering what that is, Nolan? What do you think that is?
A small.
Well, that's right. Miniature means they're not going to get any bigger than he is right now. He's as big as he's going to get. And he's a mixture of a Labrador dog and a poodle dog. And so he's a miniature Australian Labradoodle. And one of the things that I love about Teddy Bear is his great personality. He loves boys and girls, and he's so patient. He loves to play. He's got such a great personality. And so far, he hasn't licked me, which I'm glad that you haven't done that, Teddy Bear. Yes, no, let's not start today. And I also love the fact that he's hypoallergenic, meaning that if you are allergic to dogs, chances are you won't be allergic to this one because he doesn't have any what they call pet dander. And that's what most kids are allergic to, that are allergic to dogs. So that means almost everybody can be around Teddy Bear. Isn't that great?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have some letters I'd like to read for you today. Can you hold these for me, Sawyer? And let me get me started right here on our, get you up and going so we can see what's going on in the live. Okay. And just take 1 minute here. It's still coming up. Oh, there we are. Okay. And let's see if we have to, there we go. Awesome. Now you can see. So I love it, boys and girls, when you write letters to me. So if you would, Melissa, our general manager for Kids Club for Jesus, she's here with us today because our quarantine is lifted here in Tennessee. Are you guys glad to be out of quarantine? Mm-hmm. Is that good? What about you? Was that hard just being at your home all the time? Sometimes, yeah, but you've got a pretty good yard to play in, and you've got some things to keep you busy, right?
And we have badminton.
And you have badminton. And
a dog game made for dogs.
What is it?
Dog game.
Oh, a dog game. Oh, so you play with your dogs?
No, a dart game.
Oh, a dirt game.
Dart.
Oh, darts. Okay. So it's a special thing you do with games. You play with darts.
Yeah, and you throw them, and it sticks to a special board, and it keeps score points when you're throwing in the board.
Oh, so that it keeps score, and wherever you put the dart, it gives you points. Are you pretty good at it? Mm-hmm. You are? What about Nolan? Are you pretty good at throwing the darts?
I got the second best throw you can get.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So are you practice a lot?
Not really, because it's sort of broken.
Oh, so you have to wait?
We bought it broken a little. But it still works, but the sound isn't too much, so we can't hear it very well.
Oh, so it makes a sound?
Yeah.
Oh.
It makes sounds.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't see a dart bird that made sounds. That sounds like fun, doesn't it, boys and girls? And what other things did you play while you were at home? Did you have other games you like to play, or did you ride your bikes, or?
No, we played badminton.
You played badminton, so that game sounds really fun. Maybe Auntie should come over and play with you sometime, huh?
Yeah, but after you get used to hitting the board.
Oh, I have to get used to hitting the birdies. You can teach me? Okay, so I think, well, I definitely have to learn that game. So let's look on here. We've got who is joining us right now. Let's see. We have Peggy is saying hello to Teddy Bear. And we also have Abigail is saying happy Sabbath from Hannah in Australia. And so it's so nice, Hannah, to see you all the way. Can you say hi to Hannah? Say hi, Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. Hi, Hannah.
And she's all the way over in Australia. And can you imagine we have an Australian doggy here? Isn't that amazing? And I love all my friends in Australia. Auntie Brenda goes there quite a bit. And I love my friends over there. Let's see who else is here. We have Karen has joined us, and Andrew has joined us, and then we have my friend Lois has joined us. And Lois, hi Lois, can you say hi to Lois? Say hi Lois.
Hi, Lois.
Hi Lois. She's actually Dr. Lois because she is a doctor. But you know what? She used to be my roommate. And when we were in academy, we had lots of fun together. So these are, Lois wants to know, she must have just joined. These are my nephews. My brother's boy, my brother has 4 children, my brother Jim. And their daddy is Jason, my brother Jim's son Jason. And that's their daddy.
He's laying down.
He's laying down, he's being a good boy.
This is the same color that Koopy has.
And Koopy is who?
Our dog.
Your dog. Okay. So do we want to read some letters from the boys and girls? I love getting letters from you boys and girls. So if you, in fact, I'm going to have Melissa type in the address so you know where to write to Miss Brenda, and she'll put the address on there, and you can write and tell me what you do to share Jesus. And I'd love to hear from you. And then next week, I'll read your letter on the air. Does that sound like fun? Even you boys could write me a letter if you want. Okay, and we can read. Let's see if we have anybody else here. We have Abigail says, hi guys, and we have Jerry says, happy Sabbath, and it's and it says, this is Tiffany, and hi to Tiffany. And then we also have Beck is joining us from sunny Washington. Hi Beck, I'm glad you joined us. And then let's see, I think we're ready to read the letters. What do you think? This says, let's see. Oh, we got 2 letters in here. Let's see here. This one says, let's see who this is from. This is from Camise in Jamaica. And it says, Dear Miss Brenda, I'm writing this letter to tell you how much I love Kids Time. I love all the activities of Kids Time, and I love they have the special part on the show with Maxwell, the dog, and I hope you have a good time in Jamaica. I did have a good time in Jamaica. I was there for your camp meeting. I was one of your speakers, and we had an amazing time. And I'm wondering if we get to meet each other there. And it says, I loved your story about how you got Maxwell. Oh, you were there, because I told Maxwell's story there. It says, I'm part of Pathfinders, and I take pictures for church. I was hoping to take the pictures, but my teacher and my director came. But I still had a good time. So, in other words, they took pictures for you, I'm guessing. It says, I got a puppy. He's a mixed mutt. He tries to bite my fingers, but I don't let him. I give him food instead. That's funny, isn't it? It says, I hope one day I will be able to make it on Kids Time. Love, Camise. Well, Camise, I want to thank you so much for writing. And yes, let me tell you what, you can watch Kids Time on our brand new children's network, Kids Club for Jesus. If you go on your computer, kidsclubforjesus.org, and that's our new website, and you can see all of our programs on demand, including Kids Time. Also, we have an app you can download for free, Kids Club for Jesus. Go to your app store and you can watch all our programs. And you can see Maxwell on those programs, but sadly, Maxwell passed away several years ago. And so that's why we have a new dog. That's why Teddy Bear is going to be on all the new programs that we have. And he is such a patient dog. You can see how nice and calm he is and quiet. And he loves boys and girls. And I think you're going to love Teddy Bear too. So let's see, we have another one. And let's see, let's hold this picture up. In fact, my niece, Ashley is over here. Ashley, would you mind taking this picture and holding it about 7 or 8 inches in front of the camera? There you go. And so that they can see, if you tilt it a little bit, keep going a little closer, and tilt it so they won't shine and glare. And that is who's writing here. His name is Jaden. And so Jaden says, and you can just keep it and hold it down when you're done. It says, welcome to Jamaica. My name is Jaden. I live in the Sunshine City of Portmore. I enjoy watching Kids Time. I especially like to hear the children sing. And one day I would love to visit America and be part of your show. Bye-bye, your friend, Jaden. Well, Jaden, I want to tell you how you can be a part of the show. And boys and girls, all of you who are viewing right now can be part of the show. We have, if you go to our website, kidsclubforjesus.org, you can see that we have many opportunities for you to be a part. because we're looking for boys and girls that love to preach. If you like to tell a Bible story or like to preach, send a video to us, and we can put that on our program. You can also, if you're a musical talent, you are singing or playing an instrument, you can send us a video of you singing or playing an instrument. And here's something everybody can do. Send me a video of you reciting a scripture text. Boys, you can do that for me. You want to do be on my network, you can just say a Bible verse, okay? And you have your mom videotape it, and we can put it on our network. I would love that. You boys would be great at that. So there's lots of ways, even though you're all the way in Jamaica or wherever you're watching in the world, Australia, Fiji, Palau, wherever you're, Africa, all over, you can be a part of Kids Club for Jesus. And I'm really glad that you wrote to us. We have another one here that says, this is from a mommy that says, my 2 kids have missed you and really love the new website, Kids Club for Jesus. It says, my boys grew up with Miss Brenda and are so happy to see you back. They were able to see you play the piano last Sabbath and also thoroughly enjoyed Chef Ani. We tried your recipe for spinach artichoke dip, which we all enjoyed. We also tried Miss Brenda's cornbread tostada, which was a hit as well. You like cornbread tostada? Have you had that? And it says, we look forward to Miss Brenda, to participating in this ministry and are excited to see how God will continue to bless and grow this ministry for kids. Love, Stephanie. So I think we aren't going to have time for more letters today. Do you think, Sawyer, we should get on with the story? Is that what you're wanting? Because he knows we've got exciting story come up. So let me put these letters over here. And next week I'll read even more letters. But today we have, do you remember the name of our story today? Let's see if we have any other people here we need to say hi to. Okay. Oh, Lachelle is here. Lachelle, say kind voice and say hi to Lachelle. Can you say hi, Lachelle?
Hi, Lachelle. Hi, Lachelle.
All right. Let's see who else we have here. We have Mary, and we have Kathy, and we have, Judy. Oh, my good friend Judy Bailey is here. Can you say hi to Judy Bailey?
Hi, Judy. Hi, Judy.
She's a very good friend of Miss Brenda's. And so we'll read some more names in a little bit. But first, we have
Rocket Fire.
That's right. What is the name of our story today?
The Rocket Fire.
The Rocket Fire. If you have a set of my books, you're going to get volume 4 out and go to page 15. And this is the Rocket Fire. That's the name of it. And it looks like a burning fire in the brush, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Are you excited about this story? All right, here we go. Brendan and his younger brother Byron loved playing at Tommy's house. He lived right next to the bush, which is what people who live in New South Wales, Australia, call a national park. Because the bush has lots of grass and shrubs and giant eucalyptus trees, it says because the eucalyptus sap is so sticky, they are also called gum trees. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. This was a favorite place for the 3 boys to race, ride their bikes, and play soccer. And I bet you boys like to do that too. Mm-hmm. Well, one day after the boys tired of playing ball, Tommy sank to the ground, picked up a blade of grass, and began chewing on it. I'm bored, he said. Me too, Byron said, imitating Tommy. Brendan's eyes widened and his shoulders straightened. I know what we can do. Let's make a rocket. Brendan loved rockets, especially rockets that produce loud noises. The bigger the boom, the better. How do we build a rocket? Tommy's eyes flashed with interest. Sorry, you want to turn the page? Okay. We can make a rocket out of wood and gum tree sap. Brendan always had such great ideas. Does your dad have any scraps of wood in the garage? Tommy leaped to his feet. Yeah, I think so. He was working on a cabinet last week. Let's go look. The boys raced to the garage and scattered in all directions. The hunt was on for anything that could be used to make a homemade rocket. Hey, look what I found, exclaimed Tommy. An empty wooden crate. This will make a great launch pad. Brendan and Tommy started filling the empty box with wood scraps, shavings, and anything else they thought they might need. Then they dragged it back to the clearing. As Tommy began setting up the launch pad, Brendan collected the sticky sap from the gum trees to glue the wood pieces together. Look what I found in the garage, Byron said as he came up to where the boys were working and handed his brother a matchbox. Tommy's eyes opened wide when Brendan opened the box. Wow, there are still matches in here. The two older boys looked at the matches and then at one another. Tommy grinned at the younger boy. Good job, Byron. Byron smiled proudly at the compliment. Usually the older boys treated him more like a nuisance than a helper. This is super, Brendan exclaimed with excitement. With these matches, we can get our rocket off the ground with a blast. Now, all we need is thrust. Wait, I've got a thruster. He reached into the left pocket of his jeans. Gentlemen, I hold in my hand something we can use as rocket fuel. Slowly, he pulled his fist out of his pocket and waved it in the air to be certain he had both boys' attention. A thruster, he announced, opening his hand dramatically to reveal a small cylinder no larger than a flashlight battery. How can that be a thruster? Tommy's eyes narrowed. When I was younger, Brendan explained, my dad and I were burning garbage in a steel barrel in the alleyway behind our house when we heard a loud explosion coming from inside the barrel. Dad said that there must have been a pressurized can in one of those trash bags. He said a pressurized can will explode in a fire, regardless of what might have been inside. Continuing in his role as chief rocket scientist, Brendan held up the cylinder for the boys to examine. Of course, it would be very dangerous if we're a large can of something like hairspray, but this little can will be just big enough to be a perfect thruster. Brendan could see Tommy and Byron were impressed with his scientific knowledge. Yep, this little thruster will give us just the liftoff we need. So what is it? Asked Tommy. Brendan eyed the cylinder with a look of superiority. Oh, this is the aerosol container.
This can start a forest fire.
You think so? Well, let's not tell him yet, okay? All right, let's see what... We don't want to tell him too soon, all right? It says, Brendan eyed the cylinder with a look of superiority. Oh, this is the aerosol container for Byron's medicine. My mom trusts me to make sure Byron takes his asthma medicine whenever he starts wheezing. Mom gave me a new one to use because this one was almost empty. Brendan removed Byron's fresh inhaler from his right pocket to show them. Then he held up the old container. Lucky for us, this one is now empty. Tommy and Byron oohed and awed as if they were made of solid gold. Brendan pocketed the filled container and announced excitedly, Come on, guys, let's build a rocket ship. The boys held over Brendan as he glued the wood slats together into the shape of a rocket. At last, the rocket was ready. Now it was time...
Is this the rocket?
Yep, that's the rocket.
Wow.
Yeah. Said now it was time for the launch. Brendan made a few final adjustments to the box they were using for the launch pad. Next, he placed Byron's empty inhaler on it and surrounded the canister with small rocks. Explained to his audience. The makeshift rocket in position. The boys tinkled with excitement as Commander Brendan signaled Tommy to begin the countdown, just like a real launch at Cape Canaveral. Cupping his hands around his mouth, Tommy cleared his throat and took a deep breath. 10, Tommy shouted. 9, clear the launch pad. Tommy backed up several steps. Brendan and Byron hovered over the rocket. 8, Byron said. Byron said, I said clear the launch pad. Byron finally backed up and stood next to Tommy. 7, Tommy made 2 words out of the number for emphasis. 6, man all battle stations, Tommy continued. 5, fire the engines. Brendan ceremoniously struck the first match. It flared and immediately went out. Tommy repeated his command. 5, fire the engines. Brendan struck the second match against the box. Instead of lighting, the match head broke off and fell to the ground. This is harder than I thought, muttered Brendan to himself. His parents had forbidden him to play with matches, so he had never actually lit one before. But he had seen his dad and mom do it. How hard can it be? 5, fire the engines, Tommy commanded once more. Brendan struck a third match next to the rocket ship. It flared. Immediately, the wood shavings burst into flame. Brenda leaped away from the launch pad, expecting an explosion. Determined that their rocket would have a proper send-off, Tommy quickly completed his countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff! Instead of the dramatic liftoff and flight that he had anticipated, the three boys watched as their homemade aircraft sat motionless on the smoldering launch pad. What a disappointment. Their shoulders drooped. Oh well, we tried, Brendan sighed. I can't figure out what went wrong. Brendan started toward the dead of a rocket when, boom! The thruster exploded, sending dozens of burning wood shavings into the air. Landing in the surrounding bushes and on the dry leaf-covered ground, they ignited into small flames, into small individual fires. Aghast, the boys watched as the burning blaze began to devour the sticks and the dry leaves. Quick, stomp them out! Brendan sprang into action, stomping with both feet on one little fire and then jumping to the next one. Tommy joined him and began hopping and jumping on all the little bonfires. Within seconds, the tiny sparks became bigger fires. Frightened, Brenda and Tommy continued to dance on the spreading flames. Suddenly, Byron started to scream so loudly that Tommy thought he might have caught himself on fire. He hadn't, but Byron continued shrieking in terror just the same. Have you ever been so afraid you screamed? Have you? Have you been afraid when you screamed? No? You boys built a pretty brave voice, huh? Byron, Brenda shouted. Do you want Tommy's mom to hear you? Yes, he said emphatically, gasping for fresh air. He bellowed even louder. Burning bush! Hearing the screams, Tommy's mother came running across the yard. When she saw the smoke, she yelled, Dad, get the extinguisher! Quick, the boys have started a fire! You were right, it started the bush on fire, didn't it? You saw that coming. An hour later, 3 blackened bush, and Brendan looked around and gazed at the burned ground, at Tommy's house, and at the acres of trees that could have been destroyed. He shuddered at what might have happened if Tommy's mother had not heard Byron scream. He felt responsible since it was his idea. For a few moments, no one said anything. Finally, Tommy's dad broke the silence. In a very serious tone, he said, Boys, that was a close call. That fire could have easily raged out of control, and our house could have gone up in smoke. Even worse, you could have been severely burned. This calls for a consequence, a big one. Do you know what consequence is?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
It's a bad talking to or a punishment.
A punishment. So if you have a consequence, you get the punishment. Do you know what punishment is? A consequence? You do. Okay. So I won't ask you when or how you know that. How's that? I love you boys. Okay, so Brendan looked up at Tommy's dad. His voice quivered. Mr. Martin, I lit the match and it was my thruster that caused the explosion. It was my fault and I'm the only one who should be punished. Wait a minute, said Tommy. No one forced me. It was my fault too. But Byron is too little to know any better. Brendan stared at the ground while Tommy chewed his fingernails. Trembling, they waited to hear what their fate might be. They knew they deserved to have their privileges taken away, maybe even for a whole year. Or they might even get something worse. You're right, Dad agreed. Byron is too young to be held responsible, and I think the scare was punishment enough for him. But Tommy, you and Brendan are old enough to know better. You deserve to be punished. Here's what I'm going to do. The New South Wales Rural Fire Service has a training program for boys 12 to 16 years of age. They teach about fire prevention, fire safety, and firefighting techniques. Brendan, I'm going to speak with your dad, and if he agrees, I'm going to enroll both you and Tommy. You will also have to help with the chores at the fire station, like cleaning the fire engines, sweeping, picking up trash, and yes, even cleaning the toilets. I believe when you finish your training, you will have learned the valuable lesson to never, ever play with fire again. And our Bible text today is, likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boast. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. James 3:5. What did you think about that story, boys?
I liked it.
You liked it?
I liked it too.
You did? Did you like it, boys and girls? I can tell you, you want to always, there's a reason when your mommy and daddy say don't do something, that you're not supposed to do it. We need to always mind our mommies and daddies, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And do you think it's okay to play with matches?
No.
No. Do you think
No.
No? Would you get in trouble, you think, if you played with matches?
Yes.
Yes, he's looking at his mom over there. Yes, no, you wouldn't play because it's dangerous, right?
Sometimes my dad lets me light a match.
But he's right there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there with you. So let's see who we have over here. I want you to listen carefully because remember there's a prize, okay? Because we have one more story and then we're going to ask questions. And there's going to be a special prize. And let's see. So we have Lisa's hello from Wesley and Lily in North Carolina. You boys want to say hi to them when I say their names? You can say hi, kids. And also, my friend Truby is watching and says hello to Teddy Bear. You want to tell Teddy Bear hi from Truby? Yeah. Okay. And then we have Kylie and my friend Gerda all the way in Germany has joined us. Hi, Gerda. And we have Sydney joined us. And I love you, Sydney. Let's see. We have Daniel. Oh, Daniel. Daniel joined us. Daniel used to be on Kids Time, boys and girls. He's active in many of our Bible stories. So I'm glad you joined us, Daniel. Let's see here. We have Donna joined us and, oh, Crystal, my niece Crystal, your cousin Crystal joined us. Can you say hi to Crystal?
Hi.
Say hi, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
Yeah, can you tell her you love her? Say, I love you, Crystal. I love you too. And let's see here. We have, over here, we have Lindsay from Georgia says hi. And let's see, we have Julia says her daughter will be writing to me, so that's good. I'm glad to see that. And I want to thank you for joining us. And let's see if we have here. Oh, and you know who is watching right now? Nana. Say, boys, say hi to Nana. Look right there in the camera and say, hi, Nana.
Hi, Nana.
Say, I love you, Nana.
I love you, Nana.
That's right, we love you. Okay, so let's see. Our next story is going to be, I think it's over here in this book. It's volume 2. So, boys and girls, if you have my bedtime story books, go get volume 2. And our next story is coming out. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pay real close attention because we're having a contest. At the end of the story, I will be having a special question period and answer period where I will give you a question and Melissa's over there typing the questions and she'll send them to me in a minute. And then I'll ask the question, and the first one to get 3 answers correct is the winner. And I will send you a very special surprise. In fact, today I'm not even going to show it to you because I am going to let it be a surprise for you, okay? It'll be a nice surprise. So we've got it ready for our story, which is, let's take this off right here to help me find that spot. And our name of the story is Mishanda's Missing Money. Have you ever lost any money? Have you ever lost something and had to look for it?
I lost money.
You lost money before? And did you find it?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? I'm sure, boys and girls, maybe you've lost something before and you found it.
I lost my green motorcycle.
You lost a green motorcycle? Did you ever find it? You did? Where was it?
In my toy box.
In your toy box?
It was a dentist toy thing.
Mm-hmm. Your dentist gave it to you? But you found it after all, so I bet you were happy when you found it, right? When something is lost and we find it, boys and girls, isn't that a good feeling? I know that. And when I lose something, do you know what I do? I pray to Jesus and ask him to help me find it. There's not anything that you can't talk to Jesus about, boys and girls. Doesn't matter how little it is, how big it is, you can talk to Jesus about everything. Do you like to pray to Jesus? You do? Do you like to pray to Jesus and and tell him what's on your heart?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Jesus is our best friend. Let's see, before I start the story, Mishanda's missing money. Let me see if there's any messages. I wanted to remind you, Melissa's asking me to remind you that if you have already won once, then you can't win again, okay? So we give everybody else a chance. So I just let you know that. And then let's see here. We have Cindy Morgan joined us. Hello, Cindy. Can we say hi to Miss Morgan too, okay? All right, are you ready for the story? And are you ready for the story? Here we go. And I'll let you tell drink page when it's time. Mishanda's missing money. And Teddybear's ready for the story too. Look, he's being a good boy, isn't he? Mishanda sang to herself as she skipped along the sidewalk on her way to the Kim's house. They had a younger son named John, and Mishanda often stopped to play with him. The Kims, you okay? Okay. The Kims were a nice family, and their home reflected that they probably had more money than Mishanda's family. They didn't bother her at all. She was made to feel welcome, and they often stopped in just to talk. Mishanda's parents had met the Kims and knew that she was safe visiting with them. Mishanda loved to look at all the lovely things the Kims had brought with them from their homeland of China. Vases in rich blues, silks with covered the pillows. Yes, honey?
I'm just cleaning my throat.
You're just clearing your throat. That's okay. Do you need a drink of water? No? Okay. All right. And it says, but most of all, Mishanda loved to play with their cat, a beautiful Siamese cat named Luna. Mishanda laughed out loud when she found out that the name was short for lunatic. You know what lunatic means? It's like a crazy person. And I named their cat like that, only they short for Luna. John and Mishanda were playing on the wide front porch when Mrs. Kim came out carrying a pitcher of lemonade and some tall glasses. You guys thirsty yet? Mrs. Kim set the tray down on a small table and poured each of them a drink. Mishanda and John sat on the steps, sipping ice-cold lemonade. Do you like lemonade? This tastes so good. Thank you, Mishanda smiled at Mrs. Kim. You are most welcome, Mrs. Kim watched Mishanda. She seemed to be studying her as if she was thinking about something. Mishanda, Mrs. Kim finally spoke, we have a problem, and I'm wondering if you could help us out. I will if I can, Mishanda answered. We're going on vacation next week, and we are having a hard time finding a place to board Luna and her 3 kittens. We hate to take her away from her home since her babies are so young. Do you think you would be able to come over and feed and water Luna for us while we are gone? I'd love to do that. I'll ask my parents if it's okay. Mishanda grinned at Mrs. Kim. Of course we will pay you. Oh, you wouldn't have to do that. I love Luna. Yes, but this would be a real job. You would have to come twice a day. You couldn't miss any of the times. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of responsibility taking care of pets, isn't it? Yes, it is. And it says, well, I can do it for sure. You can trust me. All of a sudden, Mishanda felt very big. Mishanda was so excited when her parents gave their permission for her to take care of Luna and her babies. The Kims had shown her where they kept Luna's food and how to measure it out to make sure she got all she needed. They showed her the litter box and how to scoop it out to keep it clean. She watched Luna tuck her fluffy babies close to her, and she remembered that she should.
Aw, they're so cute.
Yes, they're cute little babies. I wish I could show this to you, boys and girls. And it's a picture of a cat with her babies. And it said, and she remembered that she shouldn't play much with the tiny kittens since they were so young. They looked funny with their eyes still sealed shut, but Mishanda knew that someday they would be just as beautiful as their mother. A week later, Mishanda was on her way to her first real job, and was she thrilled that the Kims had trusted her to do it. She thought about the money she would earn. First, she planned to give her tithe to God. She always wanted to please her Heavenly Father first. Then she knew that she would also give an offering. God was so good, she wanted to say a special thank you. Then she made a mental list of all the things she could buy, and before she knew it, she stood in front of the Kim's door. That's a good boy. Mishanda put the key in the lock and turned it. She pushed open the door and walked into the beautiful room. Luna meowed when she saw Mishanda. Meow! Meow! Ooh. You like, I don't know about that. Okay, no licking. No licking, Ted Bear. Maybe I better not meow. Sorry about that, false alarm. And It said, so that Luna meowed when she saw Mishanda and began to rub herself against her leg. And then she bent down to scratch the cat behind the ear. "Food's on the way, Luna." The cat followed Mishanda into the kitchen and watched intently as she did her job. After cleaning out the litter box, Mishanda looked around to make sure everything was in place, then pulled the door shut and locked it. The 2 weeks went faster than Mishanda had imagined. It had rained on several of the days. She didn't feel like going out in bad weather, but she knew she had a job to do and that Luna and her family were counting on her. One day, there was a surprise waiting for Mishanda. The Kim's van was in the driveway, so she knocked on the door instead of letting herself in. "Mishanda, you've done such a nice job. Come in." Mrs. Kim smiled as she pushed open the door. "Luna looks well cared for, and thanks for keeping things picked up. I'm so pleased with your work." Mishanda smiled. She felt good knowing that what she had done was appreciated. "Let me get my purse." Mrs. Kim walked into her bedroom and came back with 2 bills in her hand. "This is for you." "Oh, Mrs. Kim, $40 is way too much money." "Listen, Mishanda, you deserve every bit of it. You did an excellent job. And what do you plan on doing with your spending your money?" She said, "Well, first I'm going to give God my tithe, which is 10%. And then I'll give an offering at church, and then you're going to give some of your money to God?" Mrs. Kim looked like she didn't understand. "Yes, God asked that we give him back some of what we earn, and I've always tried to do that. It's one of his special promises that if we honor him, he will bless us. Then I like to give an offering that comes from my heart." "That's nice, Mishanda, but you don't get money just for yourself too often. Don't you want to buy some special things?" "There will be plenty left. God always takes care of me," Mishanda smiled at Mrs. Kim. "I can't say I understand, Mishanda, but I think you are a very wise young lady. I need to go to the store. Would you like to ride with me and pick out some things you want to buy with your money?" "Oh, thank you. Can I call my mom to make sure it's okay?" "Of course." 20 minutes later, they were at the store, and Mishanda reached into her pocket to get her money. Only this time, it wasn't there. "Oh, no! What's wrong?" Mrs. Kim looked worried. "My money! It's gone!" "What do you mean, Mishanda?" "I put it here in my pocket, but it must have fallen out." Mishanda and Mrs. Kim looked everywhere. They had retraced their steps in the store and looked in the van. They couldn't find the money anywhere. Mrs. Kim drove back to her home and helped Mishanda look inside the house where she had given her the money. "It's gone," Mishanda said, trying hard not to cry. "You would be sad too, wouldn't you, Sawyer?" "I'm sorry, you worked so hard for it." "I know what to do. Let's pray," Mishanda suggested. "Pray? I don't understand. How will that help?" Mrs. Kim frowned. "God hears our prayers. He will help us find the money," Mishanda said confidently. "Okay, you go ahead." Mrs. Kim bowed her head and listened as Mishanda talked to God like he was her real friend. It seemed very different to her than other prayers she had heard. Mishanda said, "Amen," but kept her head bowed for a few seconds. She was adding a prayer that Mrs. Kim would see how wonderful God really was. Mishanda slowly raised her head up and looked up. Mrs. Kim had a funny look on her face. "I think I know where your money might be." Mishanda quickly followed Mrs. Kim outside and watched as she moved around the rocks that lined her driveway. Suddenly, a flash of green appeared next to one of the rocks. "Mishanda, come quickly!" She bent down and brushed away some of the leaves, uncovering the missing money. With a big smile on her face, Mrs. Kim handed the bills to Mishanda. "How did you know, Mrs. Kim?" "Well, when you were praying, the thought came to me that you might have dropped them when you were getting into the van, and the wind could have blown them against the rocks. Do you think your God used me to answer your prayer?" "I know he did, Mrs. Kim. Isn't God wonderful?" Mishanda beamed. Mrs. Kim looked very thoughtful. "You know, Mishanda, I'm beginning to think he is. It would have been very hard to say who had the brightest smile at that moment, Mrs. Kim, Mishanda, or their loving God who watched from heaven." And our Bible text is, "Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, and try me now in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you such blessing that there will not be room enough to receive it." Malachi 3:10. Did you like that story? Wasn't that something? Isn't it awesome how God answered her prayer? And also, what a witness it was to Mrs. Kim, isn't it? That she was able to see God answer prayer right there in front of her. Isn't that amazing? Well, let me see. Let me look over here. We're going to see if Melissa has my list of questions right here. And I'm going to ask Ashley if Nolan and Sawyer's mom, if she'll give me my mini iPad here, but thank you very much. So let's see. It fell. And let's see here. Who else we have?
Why do you have a mini iPad?
Well, this is so that Melissa can text me, and she's texting me all the questions. Okay? Oh, and you know who else who's watching right now? Can you say hi to Becky, my daughter? Yes, say hi, Miss Becky.
Hi, Miss Becky.
And you know who else is watching? Somebody else that loves you very much. Mike. You can say hi to Mike.
Hi, Michael.
What do you want to tell him?
Hi, Michael.
You want to tell him to come home soon so he can play with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So we're waiting for the questions to come in, and Juliana is here, and Juliana says hi, and so we're glad that you joined us too. And remember again, boys and girls, if you have won this contest before for story time, you can't win twice. Okay? We'll give somebody else a chance. So here are the questions. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to let you know how to read good. Let's have you read this. Let's say, read the first one right here. Don't read the answers there, so don't just read the question.
What do people call a national park?
Okay, say it again, right to the camera.
What do people call a national park?
So in Australia, what do they call a national park? Because they don't call that here in the United States. In some countries they do. I think they call it that even maybe in Africa. But I know in Australia they do. They call it, what do they call it? So let's see. Melissa's going to tell me right here if we have an answer. For whatever reason, my computer froze up over here, Melissa, so it's not showing me. So I'm going to depend on you to give me the answers over here on my iPad. And this is a good backup, isn't it? Because that way Melissa can help me. Because one other time my computer froze up. So we're very thankful for Melissa to be here with us today and help us. Okay, Abigail won this one. She got that one. Okay, Abigail, next question. All right, so what? And let's see. Let's have you play. Let's see. Okay, read this one.
The trees.
Yeah, go ahead.
The trees with stick sap are called what?
So the trees that remember the trees that have a sticky sap? They call it a special name in Australia. What do they call that? We want that answer. What do they call those trees that have a sticky sap? What do they call it? Let's see. Who's answering? Melissa's going to tell me if the answers are coming in and who it is. Remember, you have to have 3. It doesn't have to be in a row, but you have to have the first person to get 3 correct answers. Okay, lay down. Teddy, come on, Dad's a good boy. No. It's a good boy. Here. All right, good boy. All right. He's like, he wants to answer the question too, don't you? Yes, you do. You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. Yes, it is. Oh, Abigail got it again. But it's really not Abigail that's answering. Abigail's her mommy. That is her Facebook account. And so it's really Hannah. So Hannah has answered 2 questions correctly. So let's get one from here. Let's read this question for her. Okay, can you read this one? Right here. What was
Luna's name short for?
Okay, so Luna was the cat, and the cat Luna was short for what? What was the name that it's short for? Do you remember? Say it if you know. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't want to tell them because we want them to guess. And we're going to find out if we have who our winner is. Yes, it might be Hannah. And maybe it is. Let's see. Who do you think? You think Hannah might get it again? You guys, you can, and if you want to type in, moms and dads, if they're sitting by you, type in that answer fast, because it's the first person to get it correct. So it's okay for you to help here and get that typed in real quick, okay? Because we want to give you a chance. So, Luna the cat was named Luna, but she was really named after something. Her name meant something else. A name. So. Let's see what it was. Who's got the right answer? Nobody's got the right answer yet. They don't know. We'll just give it one more minute, and we'll give them a countdown. Can you do this for me? You count to 10, and when we get to 10, we'll have a new question. Okay? So, but that question won't work anymore. All right? So give me a countdown.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, Melissa, did we get anybody that got it yet? Nope. So that question is not good anymore. You get a new question. Can you read this one right here? Right here. Say it nice and loud.
What did Mishanda suggest that they do to find the money?
Oh, that's right. So when the money was lost and her and Mrs. Kim couldn't find it, Mishanda suggested they do something. What did Mishanda say was a good thing to do when they couldn't find the money? Do you know, Sawyer? Don't say. Do you know? Do you know? Okay, but we don't say because we give them a chance. And we'll wait for a few more minutes to come in, and then I'll have you give me another countdown, and then we're going to have to give them another chance to find another question, okay? So, boys, tell the boys and girls there, what are some of the things that you think are good to do to share Jesus? Can you think of some good ways that we could would being kind be a way to share Jesus? Don't you think if being kind is a good way? Mm-hmm. And smiling. Oh, Hannah just got it again, and Hannah, what? Hannah wins. Congratulations, Hannah. And I'm so glad that you joined us, and I'm glad that you got it, boys and girls. And for the rest of you that are watching, don't forget that you can have another chance, because I will be with you every Friday at 5:30 for story time, and you can be with us for that. And I really encourage you to invite your friends to start watching too. And we have a fun time here on story time. Also, write me a letter this week. Melissa wrote the address in there. You can write a letter to Miss Brenda, and I can read your letter on the air. And you can also send me an email. So, Melissa, can you put my email address in that kids can write to me at, and you can send me an email and tell me what you do to share Jesus. You might have a prayer request, or it might be something, maybe an act of kindness that you did. I would love to hear from you. I also would like to invite you to join me tomorrow at 5:30, same time. Only I will be on Brenda Walsh Ministries for praise and worship. It's for adults and kids. And I will be at the piano, and you can put in your song request, and I will try and play it for you, okay? And we have a wonderful time with prayer and worship. You also have prayer time, where at the end, if you have a prayer request, then we have a special prayer. So if, boys and girls, if you have any things you would like me to pray about, even that, you can add it right here, because I will still pray for each one of these prayer requests. Even after we go off the live, I will still pray for those prayer requests. But would either of you like to have a prayer before we go? Just for the boys and girls, and help them to get to know Jesus better and give their hearts to Him? Would you like to pray? No? Okay, but that's right. We bow our heads and into a prayer, okay? Dear Jesus, we just want to thank you for spending this time with us, Lord, and we thank you for all the boys and girls around the world that are watching. Lord, I pray that you will be with each one in a special way. Help them to know that you are their best friend. We love you, Jesus. Amen. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I want to encourage you. Remember, boys and girls, it's your time to what? To share Jesus. Can we look in there and go, bye, boys and girls?
Bye, boys and girls.
Say bye, Teddy. Bye-bye.